go. We're live.
It was Justin. It was October of 2021,
Seems so long ago, but only yesterday.
where you had not been maybe a few weeks till you got a haircut.
It had been a few weeks. Yeah, I'd let it grow out a little bit.
This is on the WBEV morning show on 95.3, and I don't know how the conversation came up, and we were talking. It must have been a Bayside Mike day. It must have been a Wednesday.
There's a good chance it was a Bayside Wednesday, and I think it just was one of those things where we were having a conversation. And as is often the case in the morning show, sometimes we don't have a specific topic.
Yes.
And you must have said something like, "Ninja, looks like you're letting your hair grow out," and then it became a, well, what would you need for you to grow your hair out for 6 months, a year? And of course, being that it was a Bayside Wednesday, that was the topic, and you laid down the challenge.
And I said, if you could grow your hair out until December 31st of 2022, 1 year, I would buy you a dinner at the Bayside.
Correct.
And what's the date right now?
It is officially May 1st, 2025, so you're close.
2.5 years is kind of what happened here. But I tried this a few times. There's one time, one out of like the 5 or 6 times I had it, it was your fault. Because you got sick one time.
Yes, there was at least one time where I was sick, I couldn't make it, and that happened.
But the other 4 were like me, because I had kids' sports, or I had to be here, had to be there.
Well,
People didn't think this was going to happen.
Thursday nights is the night for prime rib, and that's kind of what we were talking about. And Thursday nights are also a popular night for soccer, softball, baseball, basketball. A lot of different sports throughout the season, excluding football. That's what we don't.
So in the winter, we Thursdays are at Daily Dodge TV at game broadcasts.
But tonight we decided that it all lined up. Everything was perfect. We're here officially at the Bayside. We got the menus in front of us, so
we're here.
No lie there.
I'm actually buying too, Justin. The menu is his, and prime rib was the bet. We're gonna get apps and things like that, right?
Yeah. I'm never opposed to any of those things. We got beverages already at the table. Ice cold Pepsi.
Can people ask questions here? What are we going to do here?
We do have a chat open, so if anybody wants to chat with us and ask questions, kind of a semi-ask us anything.
Is it off the YouTube?
It is off the YouTube. I suppose you could probably text us if you wanted to text line if you wanted to bring that up. Do you have that on your phone?
I don't know if I have the text line on my phone. Actually, I probably do, but we probably, again, great planning on our part here. I think I actually have it on my phone at some point.
I probably have it on mine as well. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and ask us questions, we're more than happy to.
I do. I do have a text line here.
Well, we'll leave you in charge of the text line then.
The Bayside Supper Club. Again, the text line here is 920-887-9595. 920-887-9595. If you want to text into the do we calling this a show or what are we calling this?
I think we're gonna call this a special edition show. And
that's about the town.
Our lovely waitress is about to make.
Yeah, she's gonna come over here. We ordered
delaying them as much as possible, and now we're finally ready. Now you had already picked out some.
I know. Well, what do you have for apps? I mean, what are you gonna have?
Well, I mean, you mentioned the pickle chips.
I think we're probably ready. You can go wait on Amber's over here who's a listener from WBEV. She's in the house, so do you need to go there or do you need to go here? Where do you need to go?
Yes, they're doing buffet, so I think they're set, right?
Okay.
We are set, yeah.
All right. Ninja, I'm gonna let Ninja make sure he's ready to go.
Yeah, I think we can be good to go, yeah, absolutely.
What are you going to have, Ninja?
Well, I think appetizers, you had said the pickle chips. Are you going to eat your own or are we sharing? Are you opposed to sharing?
I don't care, I can share.
Okay, so you want to do the pickle chips? I think those are great.
What else are we going to have?
And then, were you thinking the cheese curds?
Sure, that'll work.
All right, let's do that.
All right.
And then for the entree, I mean, I've got to go with the prime rib, right?
Yeah. Ninja wants the big one, I'm assuming, right?
Why not? Let's do it. 16 ounce sounds great.
16 ounce?
Yep.
All right.
I'll have the same thing.
The 16 ounce as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And how do you want those done?
Well, medium rare for me is wonderful.
I'll have medium.
Medium rare. And do you want baked potato or French fries?
I'll have baked potato, please.
I'm going to buck the system and say French fries.
Somebody's just dialing us in here wondering what is going on, right?
And some people could be dialing in just wondering what's going on. It's a little outside of our normal content. It's not sports. There's no play-by-play going on.
And
Thank
do you
so
want
much.
the soup of the day? It comes with it as well as salad bar. It is prime rib and mushroom soup today.
I will do soup.
I will pass on the soup of the day.
All right.
How are we gonna do the salad bar? Ninja? You have to go on your own, and then I'll come back and I'll do my salad.
No, we could definitely.
So I can just talk to the thing. We need somebody to send us the text 920-887-9595, or if you're watching on YouTube, hit us up on the chat, and we will. We'll come down right there, Justin.
Yeah, we'll pop right up here. We'll be able to see.
Justin's gonna go get his salad bar, and I'll sit here and explain how this. And we'll have some pictures and such at some point when Justin gets back. It was October of 2021, and we will have some pictures on the show. People remember Justin's hair. Justin looked like a hobbit. I think would have been a great way to put it as we were going. And it was a year and a half. And I remember when Justin, I think, will have some video coming up when he talks about what he went through for that year, because it was getting itchy. And then, but he made it through. So actually, it was like 14 months that Justin did it. And again, he chose the Bayside Supper Club, and we had a great run there. Where we loved the Bayside, and we had given the phone number every day. And people started memorizing the phone number as it went, and started giving that number out, and it was showing up in all these different places, and it was quite the opportunity. Justin's coming back from the salad bar right now.
Coming back.
Justin, remember though when the Bayside Supper Club phone number would show up at all different places across the region? Remember it was showing up, you'd pick up a rock at Edgewood Park, and the number would show up.
Oh yeah.
The dugouts of places, people just wrote it in the sand. On the beach at Crystal Lake Park.
I mean, I'm not surprised. You got to know the number to the Bayside. To mind you, if you ask me what it is offhand, I wouldn't have a clue. I'd have to go look for a rock out there.
You'd have to go look for the rock
at Edgewater
at the Bayside Supper Club to see what the phone number was over there. So what do you get off the salad bar?
Well, decided to go classic here.
Okay.
Got your iceberg lettuce, a little bit of cheese on top, some cucumber. I'm a red dressing kind of person, so ranch, French, Russia, those are my go-tos. And some of Mike's potato salad, because you can't go wrong with that.
887-0505. I'm going to go mound the salad bar here.
All right.
See how much I come back with.
Now, for those who don't know, Wade has been eating much healthier, taking much better care of himself if you don't count all the sodas in the morning and the stops through at the McDonald's drive-in. We won't count those because that goes against all of his calorie counts. Today, feel free to point out the fact if you want, if you're out there watching, that he did lose to Sherry Sackett in our dessert auction by, I believe, $5, maybe $10. So, further proving that people like Sherry Sackett more than they like Wade Bates, and that's perfectly fine. Nobody's gonna complain about that. Give you guys a little sneak peek of one of the photos, just to give you an idea. Again, we do a lot of sports, and that's what I look like with the full beard going on. Hair was covered up in that, but sometimes you gotta keep your head warm, especially at the ice rink like we were here. Good cucumber. So I'm not sure what I was talking to you guys about before, but we've been working together on the morning show for several years now, and there's one thing I've noticed about Wade. He can fill silence. He's very, very good at that. Doesn't matter what's going on. He'll find a way to fill that silence with something to talk about. So Wade, welcome back. What did you end up getting?
I got my salad. It's typical salad with some red stuff on top. And also, Mary is here, a fan of the show. And she said she thought you were me and I was you.
Really?
She said, I look like the ninja and you look like Wade Bates.
I mean, I would love to have your hairline and your waistline.
My hairline is not much better than yours.
Oh, that's true. Fine. I'll keep my hairline, but can I have your height?
Sure. Stretch it out. So we need somebody to send us a text here. 920-887-9595. 920-887-9595 on the text line. And or else they can leave a comment in the chat, because we need to see what's going on here as we
Absolutely. I'm going to take a minute to also find our stream here, and I'm going to share it on the Facebooker for anybody out there who might be in Facebook land.
Is there anybody that stumbles upon this and wonder what's going on here, Jim? Do we have to clear this with management?
Isn't it better to ask for forgiveness and permission?
Yes. Well, I think Sherry knew this is going on, right?
Sherry definitely knew what was going on, and Sherry was one of the top people to ask you if you were ever going to pay off your bet.
Why isn't Sherry here?
That's a great question. I'm guessing she's at home, probably snuggling Lenny.
Mm-hmm. Lenny Lenny the cat, not
Lenny the cat.
Larry the boyfriend.
Not Larry the boyfriend, Lenny the cat.
Okay.
I mean, it's a weeknight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't be hanging out with the boyfriend on a weeknight. She's got work tomorrow.
Well, you know, she's been coming in later and later.
That's true. That's true.
She missed the impossible question today and sat down, and that's all she had.
How did she miss the
She answered it
impossible
right away.
question?
But she got it the right way.
All right. Type in here.
Well, the crowd's coming in here today. A lot of people getting the buffet. I didn't ask Mary if Mary came out just because we were here. If she just knew we were here.
I'm kind of wondering if anybody's going to show up just because we talked about it this morning.
I should have broadcast this on 95.3 as well.
On the radio? I mean, we talked enough for it. We could probably have made that happen.
And that would have been.
Sure, that wouldn't have been a problem. All right, so it's officially up there on the Facebooker as well for anybody who wants to
I
check
specifically wore a dark shirt today because I spilled.
it out. I wore red, that close to dark maybe.
Okay.
That'll help with any salad dressing I might happen to spill.
920-887-9595. Who's going to send us a text here? Or you can comment in the YouTube chat if you dial us in and figure out what's going on here. You're going to be WBA award winner, wouldn't it?
Maybe. There's a good chance of that.
Now, you're going to ask questions while this is going on. I'm going to ask questions too while we're eating. Has there ever been anything done like this ever before, like on TV? What would this be? There used to be a wrestling WWE show where they have the guys eating. They'd be drinking too, though, and then they tell stories about the old days.
Okay. I was saying, I think the most current thing I can think of was maybe that Hot Ones show where they eat wings. But then they also got the spiciness going on. We're not doing that.
No, I tend to eat fast, so I would choke on the air here, and I need to the Heimlich.
Okay.
Would you leave the camera running or not?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, it's content. We got content is cake.
I think I'm joking. Like, this is kind of like legitimately like may happen.
Serious concern, weight gets too fast?
I do. Then if we're talking as well, it might be chew, chew, swallow, and and we'll have to do it. And I don't know. Mike will probably get on the news tomorrow too, but he'd love that.
Maybe Mike's the one that gives you the Heimlich. He comes running out from the back. He's a multi-talented man. You never know.
I would probably want Doreen to do that.
Doreen does strike me as the person responsible enough to handle that. Now, possible chance that we might get one or both of them on camera today.
You're gonna be able to walk the fit, and we'll make space for them.
Yeah, we'll do what we gotta do. We'll make him pop their heads in somehow, some way. He's popping his head out of the kitchen. He was kind of shaking his head at us, a little surprised we were actually pulling this off tonight.
We're actually doing it. See, Mike would have been smart. He'd have put, someone had a Bayside Summer Club sign right behind us.
It wouldn't have been a bad idea. Although they did give us one of the best seats in the house.
No, it is. Absolutely one of the best seats. 920-887-9595 is the text line here, or just watch on the YouTube chat, and I'm going to see what's going on in your world today.
Now, I appreciate this. They gave us the number 19 for our table number.
That's what, Milwaukee Brewer or number 19?
I have no clue.
You know, Milwaukee Brewers are a baseball team?
Well, I know who they are. Yeah.
Anyone in the house?
19?
Who are number 19 for the Milwaukee Brewers? Anyone? Robin Young.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Hall of Famer.
I knew who he was. I just didn't know he was number 19.
Okay.
I just like number 19 because 19th of October happens to be my birthday, so it makes you feel a little bit special.
I did not know that.
See, we learned a little bit about something about each other the whole time. So, I guess I'll start with my first question for you. Obviously, you're a big wrestling fan, and you've met quite a few wrestlers.
I have.
This is kind of a two-part question. What wrestler were you absolutely delighted to meet and was the greatest thing ever? And was there any wrestler that you met that after the fact you were like, I could have not met him?
I think every wrestler, professional wrestler that is, I travel all over when guys are around. My guy I was most excited to meet, recently was just because he's one of the all-time wrestlers. Hulk Hogan was in Beaver Dam.
He was, yeah.
For his Real American Beer a couple weeks back, but he wasn't my all-time favorite, just because he was an iconic person. I mean, when it comes to the pro wrestling industry.
I mean, not much of a bigger name.
No, he made the wrestling industry in the '80s, and kind of with Vince McMahon ended up rising it to where it was. But so that was cool to meet. That was like 2 seconds. Tito Santana, remember him from the '80s?
Yeah.
He never was the big champ, was the Intercontinental champ. He was my all-time favorite as a kid growing up. He was like the Intercontinental champ, was like the secondary title, and then he's always one of the guys who's always a good guy. And And then after he retired, he became a school teacher.
Really?
He taught middle school Spanish in like New Jersey.
I mean, you're gonna have a career to fall back on after wrestling. That's a good one.
No, he just retired. So, and I saw him. He was in a Cedarburg at one point. I drove over there and met him for a little while. He was very gracious, and talked to Tito. But the guy who was the coolest guy I ever met, this guy called the Godfather. He had kind of the pimp gimmick, but he was Papa Shango before that. This voodoo guy.
Right, I remember that.
And he was Kama, the ultimate fighting machine. But I saw him down at Cowabunga Comics in Oconomowoc, and with Frozen Tongue for Wrestling. He was unbelievable because sometimes guys will show up and they'll do their thing, then they'll leave. He actually sat in the crowd at the wrestling event and hung out. And
now, was he in character? Was he like full on like pimping and easy?
Oh, he brought a shirt. Yeah, nice. I would have had a picture. Maybe we get that in post of me and the Godfather in front of his Cadillac.
Oh,
that he took a picture of. But he was great. And then he went to Waterloo. He was cool. Braun Strowman. Met him at a non-event. Who's currently on the WWE roster. Was the Universal Champ for a while.
Right.
He has a house, I think, in like Neosho.
Okay.
And we were just hanging out at the Ashburn Fireman's Picnic, and there's Braun, just living it up with the locals.
In Ashburn, ball place.
Yeah, and so he's there, and it was, he hung out with everybody, was gracious, took a picture with my daughter. Oh, we have what do we have, Ash? What
Here's
do we have
the pickled chips right here.
Oh, look at that.
And here are the cheese curds.
Oh, wow.
And I'll be right back with some plates with ranch.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, remember these from the fair, the Dodge County Fair?
I do remember those from Dodge County Fair. Those look delicious, by the way.
Yeah, my family, I never used to eat pickled chips. I love pickles. My kids enjoy it.
So, not to interrupt, but pickle chips or pickle spears? Fried.
You never had a pickled spear fried?
You're not missing anything. Stick with chips.
I thought you had them the other day. Did you at a place?
I did. They're not bad, but I feel like the chips are just better. For dunking them, better.
Okay.
Better for getting the surface on the dip.
Okay. So, yeah, like I mentioned the Godfather. He was fantastic.
Right.
Speaking of that, we had Radio Park Rumble last year at the Dodge County Fair. It was a huge success with Frozen Tongues of Wrestling.
It was a huge
Big
success.
card, had a standing room only. And we actually are bringing former WWE superstar Heath Slater to the Radio Park Rumble too.
No, he's held a belt or two.
He's the 4-time tag team champion in the WWE. Can I eat with my hands here? People are just going to be upset if I start eating
Not at all.
my hand. No, we negotiated with him. He's going to be headlining we don't know what he's going to do yet, though. Got the assignment from Frozen Tongue of Wrestling.
But he's going to be there.
Yeah, got him booked. He's also got Hacksaw Jim Duggan, remember him?
Yeah.
Oh, he's coming to that place in Oconomowoc too this summer at some point. But, so
I love the fact that some of these guys who have been out of the mainstream game for a while are still
making
making the rounds, keeping active. Because when I was a kid, that was wrestling. That's what you turned down. That's what you watched. I haven't gotten into the latest stuff as much lately. I haven't had the time. But not that I'm saying it's not good, but you long for those classic days.
yeah, we do. No, those guys are still doing the rounds, doing comic conventions and doing independent shows. And a lot of them don't wrestle anymore because they're older. Heath Slater's young. He just got out of the WWE in 2020.
Right.
He's still wrestling. He's been like TNA. And this place is filling up. And look at all the people at the Bayside here today. Because we're at the Bayside Supper Club and paying off a bet 2.5 years old. That was a radio bet with Justin Wilski here. He grew his hair out for a year and 14 months. Never got it cut. You didn't shave the neck beard, didn't you?
I did shave the neck beard. That was one thing I had to keep trimmed up because that got irritated.
There's some photos.
Yeah, that one's all braided up. And I showed this one a little bit earlier, but had to keep it styled. Not the greatest beard in the history.
But that was a good look, though.
It was. It was a pretty good look. I had a lot of people that were very upset that we finally cut it. I know the day that we cut it, and we finally made that adjustment. Sherry Sackett was the one who got to hold the electric razor and make it happen. And of course, I made the game time decision, to say, we're also going to do the facial hair, and whatever you leave, I'll keep.
Yes.
For 24 hours.
Okay.
Now, I do have a picture of that as well. Vegan toast, we had a basketball game that night. I had the full mustache and the mutton chops, even though my head was completely bald.
And that's your daughter, Toast, so people know what Toast looks like. I'm allowed to tell them in mobile today, aren't I?
Yeah. But she's definitely a big supporter of everything we do. and she was having a lot of fun out there. She actually enjoyed the mutton chops. Thought I should keep them.
What about the wife?
No, the wife hated them. It was very happy.
Sleeping on the couch in the crawl space?
No, not on the couch in the crawl space, but she definitely kept her distance.
Okay. But look at the beautiful view that you have back. We had to drop the shades a little bit, otherwise we would have been shadows.
Yeah, it's a little bright outside. We'd like to hear by comparison, but we're having a good time here at the Bayside. You are definitely faster eating than I am.
Oh, my family is like, I do everything fast. I talk fast, I eat fast.
You guys have a pizza at the table? Is it kind of like whoever gets to it first?
Yeah, we just make our own pizzas. Like pizza, yeah, no. It's like we have multiples, and then what I'll do then, if I want to eat more pizza, I will throw jalapenos on it, because nobody else will eat it then. Like, oh, I don't have to share.
That's why I get the Supreme. Nobody else in my household will eat the Supreme but me.
Okay.
So I'll get that one, cook it up, nobody else will touch it. I'm happy.
Okay, so, you and your pineapple on your pizza?
No pineapple.
Wally Lukashinsky?
Yeah, no. Pineapple, no thank you. People who like pineapple on their pizza, good for you. That's great. There's also people out there who like Dr. Pepper. That's
we should have thought that we should have cut your hair here at the Bayside. I wonder if the health department would have been okay with it.
They might have had an issue with it. Although if we waited till now to do it.
How long did he go to bed?
Oh boy, too long.
It would have been down past your posterior?
It probably would have been. Not a good look. Now the hair did go to a good purpose. Was donated out for wigs for children who had to go through chemo, which was awesome. So it wasn't just for a Bayside, meal. It had a good purpose behind it. But I'm not gonna complain. Getting to hang out at the Bayside.
No, not at all. So what are you finishing up right there? What is it? Potato salad?
This is a potato salad. Mike did a really good job.
Yeah.
I love potato salad.
Is it a must-have for you in your when you have your cookouts in the summer?
It is. I don't love people pasta salad people. I love a good pasta salad, but I think potato salad is just a little bit heartier. Good mustard potato salad, can't go wrong with that.
No. Here's your question to ask you.
Yeah, what do you got?
Mike was a little disappointed that I did not bring it, but since it took so long, he thought that I was going to have to take your whole family here. That would have been $1,000.
That would have been, yeah. They can definitely eat.
No, you guys are connoisseurs of food, right?
We are. We love food. Matter of fact, the other day we went to a place we'd never been before. Up in Berlin, we talked a little bit on the morning show, and while we were there, because we weren't sure what we'd like, and we hadn't been there before, we got a couple different sandwiches. So we all kind of tried a few things. Several different appetizers. Yeah, and just shared amongst the group. We got, fries, and we had curly fries, and we had, pickle fries, and all these other things, so that we could try it all. And now we know what we like. Yeah. So when we go back up there, it'll be a much less expensive meal. But we'll know we're getting what we enjoy.
Okay, I have a question for you, Ninja. We talked about this a little bit in the past as well. I have a passion for wrestling. What do you think your number one, you call it guilty pleasure passion? Do you have one? What do you think it is? I'm not saying you shouldn't be guilty like wrestling, but there's something that you like other people be like, oh, you like this.
I mean, there's a couple of things that might be seen as a little bit weird. Like, obviously, people know I love movies, I love comic books, all that kind of stuff. I'm also kind of an avid fan of, everything fighter jets.
Okay.
It's kind of a weird thing of mine. It's always been something I've been into.
Thank you.
More napkins. She knows we're going to need them.
Yep.
I've had family who've been in the military. I've spent some time down near the International Guard base in Madison. Would see the different fighter jets on the runway. Even at one point, I had identification cards, so I could identify the different fighter jets in the sky just by looking at them.
Oh, wow.
It was one of those fun little things that, I don't do as much now, but I've also, for instance, the newest stealth fighter that everybody's talking about, the F-47. I was following the development from that when it was first announced way back when Obama was president, and its development and seeing the coalition battle between Lockheed Martin and Boeing, and it was so much of a passion for me at one time that I almost went to school so that I could work for Lockheed Martin and design jets and planes and things like that.
And then just never materialized too much.
No, I decided to go to a liberal arts college in California instead, and take up photography.
No, I've seen. I watch Top Gun. That's my.
Then you know everything you need.
Yeah, no, but Tom Cruise is like a little guy.
He is too short to be a pilot.
So My question then is like, is there any way you would have been able to fit into a jet? Would you have been able to get in? Would you be able to get into one, into the cockpit?
Back then?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. By today's standards, I'm a little bit too much of a substantial presence individual to fit into a cockpit of a fighter jet.
But I would have. I couldn't get into the race car from that we had at the Dodge Columbia.
I remember that.
So
I didn't even try.
Racing. I couldn't get in. Everybody else was able to get in.
Well, you got in. I think part of the issue is you're tall.
Yeah, it was my legs. I'm gonna blame the. Oh, I was too tall. I just don't eating all these pickles. Better than chicken.
Don't worry, I'll fight you for them.
Still have the cheese curds as well. Which again, if you haven't had those here, make sure you get them. Pickle chips have a little bit of spice to them. I'll have to ask Mike about those.
No? I'm changing things up a little bit. Mike and team always do a great job here. We were actually here recently for the Green Lake Improvement Association banquet.
With my hands again.
Nothing wrong with that. I just did too.
So yeah, we were here like 2 Mondays ago. For that, they were like 300 people or so here for the Lake Improvement Association up on the balcony.
They were crazy enough to give us the microphone and let us stand up in front of everybody and talk for a while and help them make some money.
Yeah, and that ended up being a great event here. That's one of the things too. I think that there's a Lions event next Wednesday here. Maybe I think I was told. There's always fundraising events here.
Oh yeah, they constantly got stuff going on here at the Bayside. They're big stewards of the community, which is always kind of nice.
Doreen, when's your next big event here? You said Wednesday you have something?
Lions Club Awards Dinner.
Yeah, that's the Lions Club. If you need any kind of awards dinner, they can house you here at the Bayside.
Well, they got a lot of big space. I mean, obviously, got the area back here where we are, which is kind of the fine dining establishment area. And they got the wide open area on the other side, which is great for big events. You're right, these do have a little bit of spice to them.
I know, I'll have to ask Mike about that.
A little cayenne pepper in them, maybe. Maybe you do a special just for us.
Yeah, maybe he had it, because I've had the pickle chips before. And, yeah, so, I wasn't sure when I saw the pickle chips, we were going to eat them in the past. But so, fighter jets. Do you still have anything in your house? Do you still have you have a wall in your basement? Like Mike Tronson, you go in Mike Tronson's basement, he's got trains.
Mike Tronson's got an impressive basement with those trains. I don't, unfortunately. I've got a Lego set that's a fighter jet. And I have a couple of models that I build that are very, very detailed. But unfortunately, you start picking up more and more hobbies in between, woodworking and laser crafting and CNCing and 3D printing and plus movies and everything else that I do. It's hard to find time for all that still.
No, that's exactly it. In my basement, I have a wall that's probably got 150 professional wrestling autograph pictures that are signed personally to me. So if I drop dead sometime when I eventually do, family won't be able to sell them because, unless you find somebody in Wade who likes pro wrestling.
I mean, maybe they can put it together as a special of the Wade collection.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the text line here, and somebody says, "Horsey, keep your tail." I'm sure that's for Jeff Hall and not
that is
for us.
Probably for Jeff Hall, not for us.
Jeff Hall, not for us here.
That's a common request on the Barn Show, which of course is going on right now on 95.3 WB.
The legendary Uncle Bill, every day, didn't he? Every day he played that song?
Almost every day. Favorite in the community.
Jeff still carries on that tradition. Jeff's taking a lot of requests for that as well. As we broadcast from the Bayside Supper Club, if you're just wondering what we're doing today, Wade's paying off his bet. That's me from 2.5 years ago. So I'm glad. Thanks for not having me come break my leg.
No. Luckily, it was just food, not money.
Doreen suggested she just bring it to the station at one point.
Well, she did. She suggested they could just bring the prime rib to the station during the morning show and just let me eat it while looking at you through the window. That was almost a suggestion that happened. I know there's a couple of times that me and the wife would come here for dinner or whatever, and she'd say, "Why don't you just get the prime rib and we'll bill it to Wade?"
It's not the same fact.
I said, "It's not the same. You gotta have
It's like a date
right
here
there."
today. I know, we're having a date.
Now you've been in radio for quite a while.
December 6th of 1994 is the first time I ever got paid.
So 1994. So when I was 11.
Okay.
Yeah. All the radio that you've done, do you have a radio memory that really stands out to be something that's just like just the most awesome thing you can remember from radio?
That as I told you, I'm going to choke on the air here today. For me, there's not just one moment. For me, it's just making a community impact. That's kind of what you do. We come on the radio every day here at 95. I was in Fond du Lac for 22 years. You're kind of the conduit to the community, right? Anytime anything's going on, if you talk about it, you hope to make an impact. If it's something, happening in the community that people need to know about now, we can bring it to you immediately, and that's just the passion of being local,
right?
And that's why I came back. I was a stay-at-home dad for 4 years, and I came back to WBEV just because the passion of being local is what we do here.
Now, I will say, not to toot your horn, but I was really impressed by the fact that the first time we worked together was at a game, and you were doing play-by-play. I think it might have been baseball, and the number of people who you could just pick out by name in the community that you knew. They walked in, they'd be carrying their pizza or whatever, and you'd be like, well, there's
Wayne Freund eating his 15th hot dog today.
Exactly, and you knew everybody, and you had no problem calling them out. They knew who you were. And I thought, I have no idea who this guy is that I'm working with, and yet he knows everybody. How do you keep track of this people?
Being around, shaking hands, and kissing babies. What you do, but it's just a matter of being a part of the community, and people like to walk in, and there's people here that came to see the Ninja today.
I don't know if they came to see me, but they're here.
Well, when it comes to the radiothon and GKB is one of those things that obviously makes an impact on everybody in the community, and just that's something I didn't really know about. Right. What the impact that thing made here. 26 today. Actually, we made about $2,500 on the dessert auction.
Right. And that's just auction off some sweets.
Yes, exactly. And enjoy my cookies that I made. Your daughter Ember knew they were no-bake cookies.
She knew they were no-bake cookies. She knew right away. I saw them. I thought, those actually look like they're tasty. I did appreciate Wally's assessment of sometimes the ugly duckling is the one you want.
Yes, thank you, Wally.
So, it was a safe assessment. But I also can trust Wally's judgment because Wally, like myself, is a friend of food.
Yes.
And so he was able to see it and say, yeah, I bet that's tasty.
And one of the things though that in my early days of radio when I was in Fond du Lac, we used to do some crazy things, like with promotions and stuff. Like we did when Survivor first came out. We did Survivor in the at that point the Forest Mall, which isn't there anymore. So we had people had to apply. Right. We had 14 contestants that had to live. No, I think it was 9. It was 9 contestants that had to live in a minivan, a 3-seater.
In a minivan.
Not around. Inside the van. Well, they didn't have to live in them. They had their living area, but they had to sleep. But it was enough to fill the 3 rows. So 2 in the front, and 3. So I guess it would have been 6. I think it was more than 8. So I think you're right. I think we did have people sleeping out. But so it was in the middle of the mall, and it was literally like Survivor. Right. They had challenges they had to do to earn the immunity. This is like a 2-week thing. So people had to take 2 weeks off of work.
Now, was the minivan significant? Was that the ultimate prize?
Yeah. The last one standing wins the van.
Okay. Was it a nice minivan or was it a 1983 Chevy sided
it was a brand new minivan. And so we're doing this thing, and we had to be on the shift 24/7. Right. All of a sudden we wake them up at 2 in the morning. They have to they have to do something in the mall, in front of Sears.
Oh, that's crazy.
And so we did some people. Then people just like the show started scheming.
Oh boy.
I wish we had we didn't have Daily Dodge TV back then.
Right. That would have been entertaining.
They started scheming to vote people out. They voted the one guy out because he didn't bring out deodorant. I remember they told him that. And we did the morning shows and stuff. So we would do these things live on the air. It was an unbelievable 2 weeks where people started showing up and looking at the people trying to sneak them Snickers bars and stuff. And
are we allowed to do that nowadays? Can we get somebody to donate a van and do it now?
Oh, it was fantastic. And then it was. And so I can't remember who won. I think it was a younger female because we were the number 1 who could take 2 weeks off of work.
Right.
But you didn't get anything. If you didn't win, you didn't get it. Second place got something.
That's
something.
You gotta be able to stick with it.
Yeah, and so I just remember that thing. We did stuff like that. We also shut down Town 2 was another mall promotion where we said we had this big giant tent. Right. And we had a certain number car that went through. And then we had a certain number. If your car was the car that went through on the magic number, you won a brand new car that was sitting there.
Oh boy.
And
so people could just be circling.
The police department was not happy.
I bet.
Because we totally, remember the mall was at the intersection of Highway 23 and 41.
Yeah.
We didn't know how many people were to show up. It was hundreds of cars that started driving around and around and around. And then the person that won the car, the guy that's named the Doc of Rock. King Doc of Rock. No, yeah, the Doc of Rock. He's back. He went up to Vegas like you. He actually was running liquor for the Steve Wynn's casino for many, many years. So the Doc of Rock, hey, congratulations, Amy Smith, you won. What do you think won the car? She goes, where's the CD player?
It's a free car.
That was the first thing, but doing crazy stuff like that. I was a young guy too. Like we don't have any interns here that go. Thanks, Ash. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ash did a great job here for us today.
When I was younger too, we used to we did strip walking. Well, we had a berm out, so we had like a main drag where people came in. I wear like 1,000 layers of clothes in January. Every time somebody went by, they humped the planet, would take a piece off. We figured out I had 50-some pieces of clothing on.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
My boss shut it down when we got to the boxers and gloves. So
but he's like, nope, cut it.
There are photos of that out there on the internet somewhere as well.
All right, now you know what to Google. People, weight weights and boxers and gloves.
Yeah, so just stuff like that. That's what job? If you're working at IBM Ninja, can you go and do stuff like this?
Yeah, you really can't. You can't do stuff like this there. It is a unique thing. I know I never thought radio would ever be something I'd get into. And I've had a eclectic list of jobs. We listed them the other day in the morning show. There's quite a few things that are there. But, this is definitely one of the most interesting and fun, and every day is different. Even if it's a ritualistic...
See you later. Bye, guys. Amber. She actually won Classic TV Trivia.
Yeah, she said she can almost quote our show. She listens so much. We appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, every day there's a schedule of when shows are on, there's a schedule for when things happen, but the content is different every day. It's always exciting, it's always new. And you never know what's going to happen, which is always kind of nice.
Nader from HorrorCon was actually, again, the Barn Show's getting 8,000 texts here today.
They always do. So far, we've got no chats, no texts.
That's all right. Where are they at?
That's fine.
The show. So what for you, do you have any events you've been involved in, stand out in?
I mean, we'll get a little bit crazy and wild with it. Obviously, living in Vegas, you get to take part in a lot of different things. One of the oddest I never thought I'd take part in was the Adult Video Awards.
Okay.
That's a strange one.
Okay.
There's a lot there that you can't talk about because it's not really suitable for polite company, but you meet a lot of people, find out they're fairly down to earth.
Yeah.
And you
stumbled upon into that. You were working for the casino. They said, "Hey, you want manage backstage?"
Yeah, basically, they just said, "Hey, we need to send some hotel ops managers over and represent." And we were there for guests who were staying in our hotel. And it's amazing how many of those people look like everyday average normal people.
Yeah.
But they wear a lot of makeup on camera. So that was always kind of crazy and wild. Of course, I was in Vegas when the Packers went to the Super Bowl and won. And that was awesome because I got to give away tickets to the Super Bowl right there in the casino. And we had people who did line up. We gave them tickets if they were, the first 5 people in line, 10 people in line, whatever, got a pair of tickets. And we put them on a flight and sent them to the game in New Orleans and took care of all of it.
Look at there. Well, how did you end up in Vegas? Why did you end up living in Vegas?
Mostly because my wife's family was living there at the time. My father-in-law was an air traffic controller in Las Vegas, and he said, "Could use some help? We're building a new house out here, and the second floor is basically a 2-bedroom apartment that's all yours if you want it. Just want you to come out and give us a hand. You could really use your wife's help around the house, and you need to do your own thing if you want." So I said, "Hey, we're living in La Crosse and we like it. It's fun, but when your dad calls me," and he got a little emotional. If he's watching, I doubt he is, but if he's watching, he might hate me for saying this. We got a little emotional, and kind of begged for us to come out there and help. So we made the trip. And spent 5 years there.
All right, 920-887-9595 is a text that I'm paying off my bet from 2.5 years ago where Ninja grew his hair out for an entire 14-month span for a meal at the Bayside Summer Club. And back then, never would have thought that we'd be doing it on Daily Dodge TV.
No, I wouldn't have considered Daily Dodge TV for it back then, but at this point, we had to. We had no choice.
Pop up some pictures. You have any more pictures again of you with your...
I'll bring up this one with it braided.
That's you after 14 months of not cutting your hair at all.
Actually, long enough to braid, which is crazy.
It'd have been down past your behind now if you would have kept it, right? And then adjusted with his beard that he had. Now see, like again, we mentioned that's my favorite. Like your wife didn't like that look either. The headband.
She wasn't a fan, and I actually had a headband that was made by Sherry Sackett that I still have, and I could probably wear it now, but it wouldn't have the same effect without the hair behind it, I think. But the hairbands were a popular item. People really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, because you got different ones all the time. 920-887-9595. Again, dining room is pretty full here today. If people are still coming out, you can rate the great buffet. There's Sunday brunch. Mother's Day, by the way, is coming up. Who wants to?
You think he's got slots left for that?
No, well, I talked to Mike this morning. He said, if you want to get a slot, come on. Who wants to cook for Mother's Day, right?
Nobody.
Usually mom ends up cooking anyway. So
Mom always ends up cooking.
Come to the Bayside for their brunch that they have. And it's fantastic.
And then nobody burns the eggs on the toast. Everything's fine.
And you can eat as much as you want.
Kids don't destroy the kitchen.
Oh, perfect. You're exactly right.
I like the way that works.
So, no, we are here. So, I was thinking about going back to the salad bar. We already started the 16 ounces though, so we
That's a tough call.
in my olden days, if it wasn't 20 ounces, it was an appetizer. For me, whenever I order a steak, I'd at least have to get like 20 to 30 ounce steaks, guaranteed all the time. And as I get older, I'm like I can't. I need to be able to move in the morning.
I get that. I still have my moments. As a matter of fact, yesterday evening, the wife and I went up to Oshkosh again. We went to a sushi place. That's all you can eat.
Was
sushi.
it the all? Did you go? How many of them did you do?
And well, this place is lined up a little bit, so they don't let you keep your plates on the table, so it's hard to keep stack and track.
Okay, gotcha.
But the lady kind of gave me a funny look when she walked up because I said, "Well, here's the 3 appetizers I want for the table," which of course weren't just for me. I mean, like sharing them.
Sure they weren't.
And then it was all right. I need these 2 rolls, and I need the yakisoba shrimp, and I need the teriyaki salmon, and then I'll take the teriyaki steak, and about 8 plates later, all sitting in front of me. And then she came back and she was like, "You're probably gonna be good for a while, huh?" And I was like, "Why don't you go ahead and get another salmon going for me?"
At what point did she roll her eyes and like whisper under I can't believe it.
She didn't roll her eyes. She did have a compliment for me at the end. She said most people that come in and order that much end up paying extra because they waste it.
Okay.
And they're the kind of place where they'll let you take it home.
Okay.
But they consider it still a waste, so they make you pay for the extra.
Okay. Also, if you don't finish it, they charge you a little bit more.
Right.
Like, how does that work? What do they charge you?
I think it's per pound. I think it's like 99 per pound, so it's not bad.
Okay.
But so far, I've yet to have any waste.
I was gonna say no. Was she impressed that you didn't?
She was probably fairly impressed. She said most guys don't come in and eat that much, but I'm waiting for the day when they see me come and they start locking the doors.
Yeah. Has that ever happened? Has anybody said? I did that. I was covering the Rose Bowl and the second Badgers UCLA Rose Bowl, and we were with a bunch of people in a Wisconsin meeting. Number one, they always drank the media relations room out of beer.
Oh, I bet.
And then, but we were walking around in Century City, which is basically it's New Year's Eve, and we walk in like at 8:30. There's a huge event going on in there, it was like people drinking. We were dressed like Wisconsinites.
Oh, of course.
And they walk in and they're like the meter D. Like, excuse me, we're closed. And we're like, we're closed. We're not open. And then the lady's like, and the guy goes, "Oh, it's a private party. We're having a private party. We're closed." So we're just kind of sitting, hanging out. It was like the Chinese restaurant episode of Seinfeld. And then somebody right behind us walks in and goes, "2." Like, okay, just be going with us. They just were totally denying us.
Of course.
Ninja's 5th course here today.
Beautiful.
Mushroom and prime rib soup.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of mushrooms.
Okay.
Don't know about you.
I'm not at all.
You're not a mushroom guy?
When all my wife sticks them and stuff, it's like some meals and stuff. I'm not. If it's on a pizza, I'll eat it.
Does she sneak them in so you don't know what's there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they have a major health benefit or anything.
No, there's I'm just gonna watch it with mushroom. I'm sure it's fantastic.
It is really.
Everything is fantastic here at the Bayside Supper Club. But yeah, usually I probably should have hit this because, but I ate most of these pickle chips and most of the cheese curds also.
I want to say you were definitely going to town, which is nothing wrong with that.
I mostly have to finish this steak here when it comes.
That'll be the tough part.
You have to go and take a nap.
Now, if you get a steak and you don't eat it all, are you a actually eat the leftovers kind of guy, or does it sit in your fridge?
No, I will eat it right away. 100%, I'll eat it right away. And is everybody here at the Bayside? Are they all on this side? I was thinking they see people on the other side as well when they come on in.
I do see some people on the other side. Some people like it over there, maybe because it's closer to the buffet. I don't know. But
I'm grinding it in my TikTok pad. I left it at home too. My TikTok iPad. It could have been TikTok live here today.
Could have been TikTok live at the same time.
Making some money, right? We would have been gold. I made 2 cents TikTok live in our morning show yesterday.
I mean, you keep that up and you're gonna be able to retire again.
Yeah. So how often are you on TikTok?
Probably daily. I've never done a real live other than to test the system to make sure it works. But yeah, I'd say I'm on there daily.
How often?
I usually see your lives, give it a little like as I go by.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What is your TikTok handle?
It's at Icrit.
Yeah, Icrit? Okay.
Icrit, ICRATT.
I guess I have seen that before. I didn't realize that was you.
That's me.
Okay, it's Icrit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it stands for, it's actually a movie quote for a movie I love, but it's also kind of a philosophy I have on life. It stands for, it can't rain all the time.
Okay.
So it's a nice way of saying, positivity's around the corner.
I was thinking it was Kid Icarus, the old Nintendo game from back in the 80s.
Kid Icarus, that's, wow.
Remember that?
You're dating us a little bit there.
Is that before your time, though, too, or no?
No.
It was on the NES.
It was on the NES. Yeah.
Yeah, Kid Icarus was kind of like a, it was a game that went right to left and you had to like just, like a Mario, kind of like a Mario. Not really like a Mario.
Like a Mario, but better graphics.
Yeah.
Didn't have the staying power Mario did, unfortunately.
Well, I still wanted an old fashioned game. If I have one drink, I'll be hungover tomorrow morning.
On one?
Yeah, I mean.
Wait, it makes you getting old.
I know I'm 100% getting old, so I would be 920-887-9595. We should have made a graphic of this screen for that.
We should have.
Text us right now, but again, I'm
I'm
a
surprised they
failure.
don't have your phone numbers on here somewhere.
Oh, you have the phone number, but I don't think it would be calling Jeff.
Oh yeah, we don't have to call Jeff.
People will be calling Jeff.
I mean,
Jeff Hall and wondering what's going on. You're like, yeah, try
Jeff will
the,
start texting us.
Try the 16 ounce or try the fish fry tomorrow night. I was talking to the bar too. They're excited for tomorrow night. They have the big fish fry buffet that people come in for.
Yeah, the fish fries are always very popular. But so going to college in California is one thing I love. I got out there and my first Friday out there, I asked where I could go for a fish fry. Everybody out there thought I was crazy. The looks I got from
They have any idea what a fish fry was?
They had no clue. Not a single clue. I was like, well, where are your supper clubs? And they're like, my what?
Yeah.
Of course, then I also asked them for...
Charcuterie board?
Well, I was like, literally day one, we got to our house, I said, I need groceries. So I looked at my roommates who were there and I said, okay, I need groceries. They're like, okay. I was like, so where's the closest Pick and Save? Like, Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
And they were like, but what do you want, huh? And I'm like, Pick and Save, Piggly Wiggly. And they're like, oh, you mean like Big Lots? And I'm like, is that a grocery store? They're like, no. And I'm like, well,
What are the various grocery stores out there?
Vaughn's?
Vaughn's?
Never heard of it before. Not that it's a bad grocery store, it was fine, but
They have Publix out there? Is that south?
Publix,
Is that the south?
more south, yeah.
Okay.
But it was definitely a different thing. And then, of course, my biggest thing from college I remember is they were all very proud of themselves. They were having a party, as you do.
I know what you're telling me. It's your story.
Yeah, with the correct level of drinking allowable, I'm sure. And they were very proud of themselves because they were like, oh, we got a half barrel. And I showed up and it was a pony keg, and they thought it was a half barrel.
Yeah. Oh, was it one of the small ones?
Yeah, it was one of the small ones, and I thought, no, I had a half barrel at my graduation party. That's definitely not a half barrel. So I was a little disappointed.
I thought you were telling a story about how you were at a party and the walls all fell down around your apartment.
I was at a party. That was a store.
Oh, what
in the winter.
Okay.
Yeah, we were watching a horror film, and it was in California winter, which is basically just rain for about 2 weeks. And our house was an older home, older bungalow type home, and one of the wall behind us, we were sitting on the couch, just fell off the house, which was absolutely insane. Nobody hurt, but we had to get moved to a different house closer to the beach, so I wasn't going to complain.
How did the roof? Was it obviously a non-weight bearing wall?
Yeah, pretty much. The way the house was built, so there was kind of one of those where it was an outside wall and then there was two inner walls, and that's where most of the weight was being carried.
Okay.
It was kind of an add-on thing for the living room. But yeah.
Justin, look back there, the big. Look at all the geese. What are those? Is that what those are?
I think those are
Oh, they're pelicans. We're looking up over there. I couldn't tell. Then I see it's on the long.
See a fisherman out there as well.
Yeah. Hey, opening weekend of the fishing season on Saturday.
Yes.
People, I learned there are people that go out at midnight.
Really?
Saturday and Friday night to Saturday because they can get out there and get those, get their game fish and keep them if they need to.
The DNR out there lakeside just waiting, watching them.
11:59. Let's go. You know. And Rick Wentland last week from the fishing report said he caught the biggest northern pike on Lake Emily. They thought he had to let it go because he.
Have you got a picture yet?
No, you know what? I don't think he has sent me a picture. Unless he sent it to me and I totally missed it. But
I'm a little disappointed.
yeah, so that's all. There's some sort of 40-some length long northern pike in Lake Emily right now that Rick Wentland caught, and
My grandfather had a story about up in Canada catching a northern pike long enough that in his standard 14-foot Alumacraft fishing boat, he was able to lay it down and it went completely from side to side with the curve of the boat. And apparently my cousin, who was with him at the time, Bridget, was so afraid of the fish that he decided to put it on a stringer and put it in the water. And it was in the water for all about a minute and a half, and it gave one really good flop and broke the stringer and swam away. So he lost it. Now, that's the alleged story, but we'll see.
Okay, what really happened?
Okay, so he checked in. Amber Walker checked in, said, enjoyed to see you guys. Thanks for chatting. Use their gift certificate on the very last day before it expired. Yeah, you definitely want to use those before they run out on you.
Yeah.
It was good seeing you as well.
Yeah, Amber done some work with us as well. She was at Richelieu for a while. And,
She was.
We did some brat fries and such there. And she says she listens to the show every morning.
Mm-hmm. She knows us well, and we apologize now.
So I appreciate it, Amber, and her drive to work, I'm assuming, every day, or maybe she just has it on. I wonder if we're the first voices she hears every morning.
I do know there are some people out there like that. There's actually a lovely lady who works at the Jersey Mike's here in town, and she is phenomenal.
What?
Your order's about to come out. Do you mind if I take anything out of your
What do you need,
way?
Justin?
I'm done with the ring.
I'll be right out with the food.
But,
And then I'll refill your
Thank
drink
you.
later.
Thanks, Ash.
But yeah, lovely lady works at the Jersey Mike's in town. Every time I go in, she recognizes me. She knows who I am, and she'll chat with me. And we are her alarm in the morning. Her alarm goes off, and she's listening to us, listening to the weather, running through the whole 9 yards, and every day. Well, except for weekends.
Yes.
But yeah, she loves us.
She got Bob Corey on Saturday morning, so. Is Jeff Hall on Sunday mornings at all? Or is Jeff's in there sometimes?
Jeff's in there sometimes.
Church
Yep.
programs.
They swap it up a little bit.
Okay, so how are we gonna? We should have. Does Ashley take a picture of us at some point once our stakes are here? If she can take our picture,
I think it's a good
you
idea.
can document this that it actually happened, non-digital or non-video.
Oh, look at this. Amber says she starts while listening in the shower.
Oh, hey.
All right, Amber, you gotta be honest with us. Which voice is more appealing when you're in the shower, mine or Wade? Feel free to answer that.
This is a little TMI right now.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
So
I'm just saying. I've been told I have a good
But
voice.
do you have a radio in the shower? I have a radio in the shower.
I have a radio near the shower.
I have,
It's
I,
not
have,
in
I,
the shower.
I have an actual radio in the
Really?
shower.
Yes. One of the waterproof ones.
Yes, and it's hanging off the the pole.
Okay, so it's not like suction cupped on the
No,
side.
no, I tried that. It didn't work. That's
Okay.
so I took the it gives you like a little handle. I kind of took the pole off and hung it there, and
You jerry rigged it and it works.
yeah, it works. You know, so it's hanging there, and it survives, and yes.
We got an OGs. I don't know if she's willing to answer that one.
No.
We fully understand, Amber.
No, so yeah, I'm a shower and the radio kind of person too, 100%.
I do like music in the shower. Do you sing along to anything in the radio?
No. But you know, Ninja, your thing though is more because you have the 2 alarm clocks. We're her alarm clock. You have the 2 alarms, one the cuddle clock for your wife and one the have to get up clock.
Yeah, I got the get up clock and I got the cuddle clock. Cuddle clock's a fan favorite. What, some prime rib coming our way?
All right.
Oh, looks like Mike outdid himself as always.
Oh, Anders Kenderson just texted and said he's going to start a conspiracy in the morning. I
Okay.
don't know what that's going to be. I'm saying, oh, he sent it into the private line.
Who had the medium and who had the medium rare?
Medium?
I had medium.
Medium rare.
Alright.
Gotta clear some space here. Thank you.
Some delicious looking
Oh,
cuts
yeah.
there.
And you had the baked potato, correct?
Yes, you did.
And Ash, we have to have Ash. No, I didn't think correct. Thank you. Oh, look at this. Good job.
That's quite a cut.
It is. Mike, did Mike have a right out back? Is this really fresh?
Pretty sure. It looks pretty fresh.
You got the French fries.
I did go with the French fries.
Look at that.
Okay, here.
That'll work perfect.
Can you take a picture of us too?
Yeah, for sure.
You're the best.
Ketchup.
And I've got to get these great hunks of meat in here.
Plus the prime ribs.
Plus, yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Did you get a good? Thank you.
There you go. There's a few different
Oh,
for you.
appreciate that, Justin. Look at that.
She was getting all my best angles.
Yes,
High,
she was.
high angles.
Anything
the
I can
important
get
thing.
for y'all right
I
away?
think we're awesome. Can I get a refill of Diet Pepsi? please?
Diet Pepsi? Yeah, I'll be right back with them.
As we are paying off my bet from the date for the Bayside Supper Club that went back 2.5 years, actually a total of like from the, well, 20,
Oh,
that's
boy.
almost from October of 2021 to
Yeah,
now.
from the start of it till now, that's quite a span. Did you think I'd pull it off? Or did you think I'd stick
No,
with
I
it?
thought your wife was gonna make it. Honestly, I thought we'd get to about June. You know, I had a bet with the guy that I did a morning show with once, and we did 1,000 hamburgers in a year. And but it counted as like the patty. So like if you had like a double cheeseburger, it counted as 2.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know, so 1,000 patties in a year. But we were like the 500s. We were ahead of the pace in like June too. And then he left. He got a job. Went to got a job in Iowa. It's never finished.
Oh.
So look at this.
Oh, that's a nice cut.
It is. Yeah, so we're more eating now than talking, I'm assuming.
I mean, that's probably going to be the case, yeah. Gonna
So,
dive
yeah.
more into the soup here.
Yeah, 2021, we started it right. We were still kind of in the pandemic then, weren't we? At least with, by October 2021,
Yeah, we were back in office. We were coming out of it at that point. And that was around the start of me really being part of the morning show, part of the news team, in the sense of being a regular.
Sure, look at this. Yours is rare.
Well, I imagine mine's going to cut just as beautifully as yours
It
will.
does, look at this. Thank you very much, Ash.
I've noticed Bonnie and Mike have kept themselves fairly distant at this point.
Yeah.
She said she absolutely doesn't want to be on camera if she can help it.
Doreen, do you want to come on camera?
Doreen. Why did I say Bonnie?
Who's Bonnie?
I have no clue. Alright, I gotta cut into this.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Ninja dive into action here.
Oh,
It's like the old 69er. Do they have a?
I want to say, does anybody still do that?
If there's Mike, he's got. You can do like the Ninja, which would be like a, or the old 96er it was.
Yeah, the old 96 there. Yeah.
There's your first cut. So it's just warm enough. The medium rare is just warm enough to make it stop moving.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to necessarily moo at me, but I want to know the moo is echoing out there somewhere.
Excellent. 920-887-9595. Here's the text line if you want to send us the text. The Barn Show text line is on fire today.
I'll say, Barn Show's been over for an hour. For not an hour, but since the top of the hour.
Anders says he's concerned that he thinks about my loss in the Great Beaver Bake Off. He says he thinks there's a conspiracy going on there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear the details from that.
Well, tune in tomorrow. We'll find it out. I guess I lost by $5 today with my.
It was very close. At one point, we had a lovely lady call up. I think it was, might have been Joanne.
Okay.
But she called up and she upped the bid on Sherry's and then upped the bid on yours to within 10.
What? Okay.
And then we were like, oh, there you go, the alliances are being shown.
Yes.
And then she felt bad. She upped yours by 10 more to get it to
Oh, really?
time.
Oh, well, it's for the kids.
It's for the kids, of course. We appreciate all of it. Now, have you guys started to talk about what the punishment's going to be for the radiothon?
We need ideas. We need ideas on this thing because 2 years ago was pies in the face. Last year was eating the hottest wings around, and I actually enjoyed the hot wings. That wasn't a punishment at all.
No, I haven't liked the sandwich board idea you guys had.
I'm all for that again too. For an entire morning, for like 2 hours after the morning show, you have to wear a sandwich board and say anything you want. I'm gonna bring that back tomorrow. I have to walk up and down Main Street, say anything you want on the sandwich board. The other person decides what it is.
Yeah,
It can be a message for charity. It can be, I'm Sherry. Larry, will you marry me?
Could you imagine a reverse proposal like that?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you do that in June, right after Radiothon, then you'd have plenty of time to plan out the wedding right there at Dodge County Fair.
She already said it's not happening. We thought that was happening. You can do it in the ring too this year.
We could.
Because wrestling weddings always end up with hijinks.
Well, I mean, right. And that's perfectly fine. You know, you want a little hijinks at a wedding, right? Keep it interesting.
Yes. If there was some sort of fight.
For your fries?
Now, big news story, of course, this broke recently. Brand new stage for Radio Park this year.
Yes, if you drove there for any of the events they have going on, you can see it being built. It's going to appreciate the Fair Board working with us to get the improvements there. It's going to be great for the Dodge County Fair.
That's going to be great for the fairgrounds all around. Be usable for a lot of events year round, not just for Dodge County Fair, but of course we'll make good use of it for all the concerts that we have out there. I know Morning Show, Hometown Today are going to be live out there. I believe every day, weekday of the fair. So it'll be a lot to see, a lot of great events, and of course Radio Park Rumble 2, as we talked about. I'm looking forward to seeing an even bigger crowd out there this year.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that as we get closer. We're still, well, fair's not that far away. It's May, June, July, August, 3 months.
It's closer than you think. And I'm sure we're still, finalizing some things here, there, and everywhere, because that's how it goes with these sorts of things.
Yeah, we're working on, for Sports Day, they get Wisconsin sports celebrity. They maybe sign some autographs and such.
There you go. If there was a particular Wisconsin sports celebrity you'd love to have, you could have anybody.
I don't know. I mean, you have to figure it out. I mean, probably any former Packers would probably be good,
Oh, yeah. I can imagine that. Would you take a Packer who's left, like if Aaron Rodgers came back and said he'd do it?
Of course we'd have Aaron Rodgers come on down, We would have, who else could you have? Any of the old schoolers or, like Robin Yelp for the Brewers. Robin Yelp.
Oh, that would be huge. Or, I keep forgetting his name now. He came to the Piggly Wiggly. The mustard
Corlin
guy.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, there's a great special that's on Roku streaming now. It was in theaters, but Roku's got it for free on the 82 Milwaukee Brewers.
Really?
Yeah, it's a fantastic documentary. And if you are listening, leave us a comment on the YouTube chat if you're watching this somewhere. Tell us where you're at.
Absolutely. If you're watching on playback, feel free to still leave a comment. We'd love to know.
Yes. See how long they made it an hour in probably here, huh?
No, we're currently an hour and 2 minutes in.
It's 6:13.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Not doing too bad. Delicious prime rib, Mike.
It is. Mike from the Bayside, I highly recommend coming on out.
I don't know if I could do what Mike does. I don't know if I could run the kitchen, 6, 7, nights a week. I don't know how
he's out there. He's one of the best. People randomly walking in, what's coming.
There's a few people walking in wondering why is there a camera set up? Why are these
you're,
guys talking so
you're
much?
the ninja. Mary came. We saw Amber here tonight. Mary came out to take a look today. She was here.
It's nice to see the fans. I'm surprised none of your neighbors lined up so they could take a moment to talk about you.
They get enough for me. Is that an old fashioned that's coming through there? What do you think?
Probably. That was the drink of choice that won the cocktail challenge.
Is the drink of choice the old fashioned at the Bayside?
I think it kind of has to be. It's a Wisconsin staple.
Again, I haven't had an old fashioned, I bet you 10 years.
Really?
No, and I was going to have one on a Saturday night the other night, and then I ended up tapping out on that.
No, you're a sweet or sour guy.
I don't know. I just was giving it an old fashioned.
Just like
I think that I'll probably be a sweet.
I'm going to adjust our lighting now that things have gotten a little darker here.
Look at that. What do we like? Paying off a bet here at the Bayside Supper Club. Since it happened on the air, we're delivering it on the air. We're on Daily Dodge here. Man, what do you think of somebody from the Marcus and Cleveland flips on and says, what is this?
I don't know, but this may end up being our fourth Friday clip for the team.
You have to find a good. We need a good soundbite. We need to feed each other
the link arm thing.
Yeah, I think we need to do that.
Maybe.
What can we do to actually add some zest to the soundbite?
It's a good question. I mean, we've already talked about how much we love working in radio in the local community, which is definitely an important thing.
Name every city you've lived in. You've had an address, an apartment.
Oh boy.
House in. Start with or Doylestown.
Yeah, all the way back to Doylestown. That's the first. And in many ways, my heart's still in Doylestown. It's a great little city. Shout out to them.
Okay, so Doylestown to where?
Doylestown, then to Columbus.
Okay.
And that's where I went to school. All the way through, kindergarten through to high school. And then made the jump to college, which was Ventura, California.
Okay.
Definitely a change from Columbus, Wisconsin. When I moved back, I moved in with my parents.
Was it like the Beverly Hillbillies for you?
In a way.
Okay.
I mean, I got out there and I was wearing my jeans and my t-shirt, my standard farmer wear, and I wasn't there more than 2 weeks. And my roommates were like, "Okay, we got to take you to get different clothes." And next thing you know, I'm shopping at Old Navy. Oh. And that was definitely not a me.
I picture National Lampoon's European Vacation when Rusty lost his clothes. No, that's not it.
Not quite that bad.
Okay. So Ventura, then where?
Ventura, California. Yep. Came back with my parents for about 2 weeks before finding an apartment in Madison.
Okay.
Lived in Madison for a little while. Then transitioned from Madison to La Crosse, which is where eventually my lovely bride moved in with me. We got married there, had our first child there, and packed everything up in a U-Haul and made the trek to Las Vegas.
How many days did it take you to get to Las Vegas?
My father-in-law made us do it in 3, purely because we're traveling with at that time, like 2.5, 3-month-year-old.
How's everything over here?
And they were like, no, you can't do that long of a stint with a young baby. You gotta stop periodically. So we did. But it was not the same thing when we moved from Vegas then to Houston 5 years later. In that case, we packed the entire family, which at that point in time was me, my wife, Jack, and Ember, and then my buddy Paul, who had come to...
Paul was just pretty randomly?
Yeah, Paul, he was just a...
He just showed up in Vegas?
He actually graduated with me in high school in Columbus, and then moved with us from Vegas to Houston.
You like your butler?
For a little bit. I mean, there were times. But we packed all of us into a station wagon and drove from Vegas to Houston, Texas, and we did that in 2 days.
Okay, that's not so bad.
No, but I mean, we also stopped at
Did you get
Carlsbad and Roswell.
Yeah, did you get to like, where'd you spend the night of the 2 days?
Just outside of Carlsbad, and then the last night we arrived late in Houston, and we're able to stay at our place in Houston.
Okay. And then Houston back to Wisconsin?
Houston back to Wisconsin, lived in Beaver Dam for a little while, so we bought our house in La Palm.
Look at that. There you go.
So not too bad.
Yeah, and then I
How about you, Wade Bates? Where's your wild travels taking you?
Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin until I was 18.
Okay.
Went to UW Oshkosh. I lived in Oshkosh
Right.
for
Was it
4
the
years.
Harvard of the Fox Valley,
Yes.
you call it?
Yes. Then ended up in Fond du Lac. After there, I lived in Fond du Lac from 1997 to in 2004. I left and lived in Sheboygan for 1 year. We started an ESPN affiliate there.
Okay.
And in 2004, came back to Fondy and rolled that out for another 12 years. 11 years to 2016. I did have, take that back, lived in Fond du Lac from 2004, and then we built the house, so I had to move to Appleton to live with my in-laws for like 8 months.
Ooh.
And then,
But you like your in-laws, right?
Yeah, I love my
Okay, you get along with them, so you're
I
good.
love my in-laws. So we lived there from like December to May, so it wasn't that long, 6 months.
That's not bad. Over the winter, which is nice.
Yes, and as far as commuting to the morning show, so getting up at like 2 in the morning was not fun. I get into Fondy from northern Appleton, like O'Connor.
Right.
And then, that technically counted because our mail got switched to Appleton's.
Well, yeah, if you're going to stay there long, that counts as a move.
Back to Fondy, and then Beaver Dam. So that would be Wisconsin Rapids, Oshkosh, Fondy, Sheboygan. Is back to Fondy calls another one or not? No.
Maybe.
Okay, back to Fondy. Appleton, back to Fondy. Beaver Dam. So that's where I've never been out of Wisconsin.
Now, has there ever been a thought about trying? I mean, there's radio everywhere, right?
No, never wanted to move out of the state because I have family here, but I'm in South someday. I love Eastern Tennessee. I love the Smoky Mountains. It's there. My mother-in-law lives in St. Augustine, Florida. That's
Okay.
usually a week in the winter.
There you go. No,
Around
no,
there,
that.
but Eastern Tennessee was very. Smoky Mountains is a beautiful area. You get snow, it gets cold a little bit in the winter, but it's not like here.
Right.
So
No.
Arizona,
Not
Texas.
bad.
A lot of people moving to Texas now.
A lot of people live in Texas.
No income tax in Texas.
No income tax. You know what? That's got its good sides, its bad sides, I'm sure. I want to talk a little bit about, because you've got an interesting story and I love the story you brought it up on the morning show before, on how you got to meet your wife.
Oh, my wife?
Yeah. Because for people who don't know, like, and I say this in the nicest way possible, you kind of married up.
Oh, I did.
Your wife's an amazing woman.
100%. My wife was a cheer and dance coach at Beaver Dam High School. I was a teacher there. Carrying equipment up for a football game. It was Tuesday night or Wednesday night,
right?
Because I used to play a game on Wednesday night to end the year. And I bumped into it, said, "Excuse me," and I walked up and I go, hey,
right?
And so I asked a friend, and they said, "Who's the dance coach?" Like, which one? I said, well, if I would have said I don't know one, they have ended up having me,
right?
They give me the number of the other person. So then her friend went and asked her. She goes, "Yeah, you talked to this person." She's like, "Who? When did I talk with him?" No recollection of any of the conversation.
That's just how memorable we made this.
I made zero impression, and then I gave her my phone. I got her phone number. Well, first, I guess I got her. I think I got her email first. Her school email.
Okay.
And then
that's progressive.
And then
emails at that time.
A couple of emails, but it was a business one too, so she couldn't easily have blocked me.
Right.
And then actually gave me her phone number. And then she says I called her and I left her a message in my radio voice. I don't know what that means.
And that's what did it, huh?
I don't know. Then we were supposed to go to like midget wrestling with Teresa.
Okay.
For our first date. It was a group date because she was scared to be alone with me. Because I'm shady. And then we ended up going to a hockey game instead. And next thing you know, the rest is history.
I think if we had to be honest about it, I think she really thought you were shady.
Yeah.
I think that she knew she couldn't control herself around you if you whipped out that radio voice again.
100% not that. 100% false. No, did you actually ever have a first date with your wife? You guys kind of met online.
We did. We met online.
Fell in love.
It was love at first argument.
Yes.
And we kind of had. We had dinner together when I first went out to Arizona to help her pack up and move her south to Wisconsin.
Sure. Next thing you know,
we're getting married and having kids and doing the life together thing. It was definitely interesting.
I can imagine people scrolling through like the YouTube, seeing this thing. Wonder what's going on here today.
They might be a little.
I owed Justin a dinner for the Bayside Supper Club. It was a bet on the radio, and since we have Daily Dodge TV now, we figured we'd learning a little bit about each other while we eat at the Bayside Supper Club.
Why not?
Yeah.
Might as well. Good dinner, good conversation.
Oh, 100%. And then leave a chat, like Amber dove into the chat as well for a little while.
They were here during the meal. They went with the buffet, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they did. I think that's the big thing here on Thursday night for the buffet is the prime rib, the buffet. It's like all top notch. Again, if you're looking to go for a nice romantic evening, or want to book a party, or a wedding shower, or a baby shower, or a big fundraiser for whatever you have, bar mitzvah,
community events,
they can take care of you here at the Bayside. Check it out. Text line again. And appreciate people dialing us in here today as we're living the dream here at the base. It's still raining out today too. Hopefully it'll be better tomorrow.
It sounds like this weekend is supposed to be a lot nicer. Which I'll take.
Yep, tomorrow night, we have one broadcast, just one game on Daily Dodge TV tomorrow night. Beaver Dam Girls Soccer in Reedsburg is going on. That's on Daily Dodge TV.
Home game, right?
Yep, Aiden Voigt and I will be out there for that. The Beavers against the Beavers.
How's the weather look like it's going to hold up for that?
No, we're fine.
Okay.
The weather's going to be great all weekend long.
Good. How are, I'll be honest, because I haven't been out there filming the games, because we have Aiden doing a great job. He's doing a phenomenal job out there with you. I haven't been keeping track of how the teams are doing. How
baseball is having a phenomenal year here this year so far. Beaver Dam baseball team has been all over, hitting the ball, great pitching. Coach Wilkie's squad's got themselves a great opportunity to make a big run in the postseason. Softball in their first year, Coach Quinn Hines is doing a great job. Soccer got a good mixture of young and old, and they're like right around the 500 mark this year, having a good year. Track and field under Coach Mike Price doing a great job. The girls won their quad on Tuesday night. Coach Popovich in golf doing a great job as well. Those scores keep getting low. You can always check it out. We actually have an edition of Inside Beaver Dam High School Athletics and Activities coming up, I see right now on dailydodge.com.
I'm saying it's live right now.
Yeah, you can. It might actually be on the air right now. I probably just wrapped up on the air, but you can always watch it on demand 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
As they have that, so.
I will say I highly appreciate the partnership that we've been able to forge between the radio station and the school district when it comes to high school athletics.
Yep.
That's really kind of helped Daily Dodge TV boom, and I think it's been really beneficial to both sides.
Hometown Glass and Improvement, and also Columbus Family Dental, along with the Beaver Dam Unified School District, big partners in helping get all these games. We're at 100. We're at 100. If nothing gets canceled before the end of the regular season, we have I think 137 games. We were broadcasting here in 24, 25 school year. Then we saw some Legion games we'll get in, and you know, a lot of people. You were involved in that. Your oldest Jack, Aiden Voigt, Wally Krasinski, Corey Sparks, Mike Tronson, Sherry Sackett helps make that happen as well. The players going out. So there's so many people allow us to make that happen. And like heading down the home stretch here.
We definitely have a lot of good team out there. And some amazing time to be covering the athletics too. I mean, we kind of picked up covering things back when Beaver Dam girls basketball team was going to state.
Yeah, they were nationally ranked. They were nationally. The first real thing we did in Daily Dodge TV for sports was when Mike Tronson and his wife ran the camera. They went down and we broadcast their games in Florida against the #1 team in the country. Yeah, they played Miami Country Day.
I mean, that was
lost by like 8.
I mean, to play the #1 team in the country and lose by 8.
Yeah, bad second quarter. Still remember the bad second quarter in that one right now. And I still think about that back there. But those were some great runs. And then kind of our Ryan Gable played a big role in it. He was here, John Moser, you know, and they kind of expanded our coverage. And I still remember the first time that we had a Jimmy John's partnership. And we didn't have any commercials in it, so you actually had to buy a Jimmy John's sub, and Mike would talk about it, and you put the sub in front of the camera. I'm surprised you were not able to eat that before you had to use it.
Halftime is the time. Rip it open at halftime, take a bite out of it on camera. I can still find those shots back there, but we had a lot of fun with it because that's what we had to do. Now we've gotten way more advanced, do way more cooler stuff, which is awesome. And that's a testament to having some great people and team who are willing to support and get behind it. And it's led to some amazing sports coverage and event coverage. Graduation.
Yeah, we'll have graduation live on the air on Daily Dodge TV coming up again this year. That's the Grand March with Aiden Voigt. Did the Grand March this past week leading into prom for Beaver Dam.
He did a great job with that.
We got a lot of positive feedback on that.
I appreciate it. I don't know if you've seen, but he has already passed out his graduation party invites to the team. And on there, he's got a spot where he mentions that the graduation will be streamed on Daily Dodge TV.
Yeah.
He's letting everybody know.
Aiden Voigt is a senior, again, one of our work apprenticeship people. He had this great idea. We were talking. He wanted you to buy. He researched it for $40. You could find a small camera that he wanted to pin to the top of his graduation cap. And he wanted to be able to, when he was walking across, you could get like a real view of people walking in.
Right.
You know, like walking in to sit down and then walking up across the podium.
Yeah, he was telling me a little bit about that, and I think it's a brilliant idea. It would be a little hard to bring it on the live. We'd have to put it in post, but yeah.
I know what his mom would think about that, though, his graduation. He goes, even if it's the big camera, now I'll strap it on.
He is such a game player. I know at one point he was talking about trying to build us a mobile press box.
Yes.
I mean,
you roll it up and down.
Shout out to him, and you know, it's a great testament to what that youth apprenticeship program brings to the table.
Yeah, so he's been great.
So yeah, we've had a lot of fun from him. Of course, I think he's gung ho. I think he'd like to kind of stick with radio.
He's, you know, that we're gonna try to give him as many hours as we can and see if we can carve a niche for him. He can be kind of like you're like Skywalker.
I mean,
you're Yoda.
I would never say no to
much bigger Yoda.
I'm a much bigger Yoda.
Is there some other Jedi master that we don't know about that was in the books maybe that you could be more like?
I'll have to look into that and see. There's a pudgier Jedi.
Okay. Jabba was not a Jedi, was he?
He was not.
Okay.
Although, you know, in the right light, if I paint myself green, I can pull off a Jabba head.
I could see you as the guy at the guy running the cantina.
Yeah.
I can see you when they were in the cantina in the Tatooine.
Yeah, I was saying, the prequels, they had Obi-Wan went and saw a guy had a big bushy mustache,
Yeah.
which I don't have, and was a bigger gentleman. So yeah, I can pull that off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Yes. Ash just had a step so, I'm going to ask you a little bit about 80s movies. So, we know you're a fan of Back to the Future.
Back to the Future is my all-time favorite movie. I think it's the greatest, most perfect film ever made.
What's your second behind that?
Oh, from the 80s? That's a hard one because there's a bunch of them that you always have to watch when they're on. Any of like some of the Brat Pack movies. I'm a big fan of Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh yeah, and I know by today's standards that doesn't play well,
but I love Revenge of the Nerds. That's in there. The Breakfast Club obviously is in there. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But that was still 80s. Yeah, that was 80s. That was 80s. The original National Lampoon's Vacation got to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
First movie ever. The first was ever taped. Well, there's that whole group of like 80s movies. They all kind of have like these teen, like the Porkies. Mm-hmm. Those like when you're younger, it's like all of a sudden you got interested in all those high school type theme movies.
Those movies struck gold with the first one, and it was a sequel.
Yeah,
and the sequel was horrible.
The next day was terrible.
Yeah,
Porky's Revenge was terrible. But I think Back to the Future by far, all straight through. Anything like must watch. I'm a big John Candy guy. Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck, Summer Rental. I'm a big fan of any of those John Candy movies from back in the day. Because they're all the same movie. Great Outdoors, Summer Rental was basically the same movie. One was on a beach and one was just up north.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing. How do you feel about Smokey and the Bandit?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of The Office.
That's right, you got the sheriff, right?
Yeah, no, that's from
that's from.
I have a legitimate Smokey and the Bandit movie poster in my office.
With Sally Field on it?
Yeah, Burt Reynolds and in the Corvette or the Camaro or whatever it is.
What a great stash.
Yeah, and then I have that, and I have I'm a huge Smokey and the Bandit number 1, number 2, number 3 were fair. Those are like the worst sequels ever.
They weren't great.
No, but Smokey and the Bandit 1 is like that's one where it's on. I'll watch it anytime that it's on. You can pick it up anytime. The Caddyshack obviously is right there too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just had this conversation recently with somebody, and I said, if Mel Brooks was behind it, that was another one for me. Spaceballs.
History of the World Part 1.
History of the World Part 1.
Those are my two favorite, probably Mel Brooks. But Blazing Saddles, that was the 70s though.
Yeah, that was 70s. Young Frankenstein, big fan of that one.
That's not one of my least favorite Mel Brooks movies.
Really?
Yeah, I enjoy it, but it's not like I'm not like I'm gonna stop and watch that. Like Blazing Saddles, I'm gonna stop and watch. Spaceballs, I'm gonna stop and watch. History of the World Part 1 is one of those movies that's not on. That's not on like the circulation. It's not just randomly not on like any of these random movie channels that have random stuff. I don't know why.
Did you end up diving into History of the World Part 2 when they did it on the TV series short thing?
No, I don't.
I want to say they did it on Hulu or something. It was not great.
Oh.
Yeah, it was not great.
Was History of the World Part 2 the TV series?
It was like a mini series kind of thing, or like a short, made for TV kind of movie thing. There was still Mel Brooks behind it, but it felt like he had to curb a lot of his comedy to fit streaming. Yeah. Which is unfortunate.
No, because I do think that it's softening a little bit now there, because you had a run here. You had like a 7-8 year run where you couldn't do anything that was even anybody was somewhat. Now it's starting to soften a little bit. You think where some comedians are like feeling like they can push the envelope a little bit more and
you can still be funny. Which
nobody. I don't think anybody should be offended by if it's in a comedic set. Mm-hmm. You know, because in the 80s, you see like 80s, like HBO used to have all the their specials, and George Carlin.
Oh yeah.
Everybody had those. Had the stand up. You think it was Stan Kinison, Andrew Dice Clay. He had a short run, but for a while he was selling over like stadiums.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I think it's some of the biggest names out there that would do family movies. Yeah. Robin Williams. Yeah. When you watch the stand up, Robin Williams stand up and Robin Williams in a movie are two very different people.
Bob Saget. People were fans of Full House, and they go, "Hey, Bob Saget."
Videos.
Yeah, Bob Saget's going to be performing here at the Rec Center in Poughkeepsie, New York. Let's go see him. And then you go to a show, and you're like, "Oh." He was very.
He was very blue.
Yeah, very blue. That's a correct. Very blue humor kind of guy. But hey, it's another day. They have 95.3 WBD on the radio. I think he's doing it just for us.
Maybe. Wow. I think they keep it on there quite a bit. No, there's a great, I don't say great, but there's a quasi-documentary out there called The Aristocrats.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen The Aristocrats.
And oh boy, like I can't tell what the joke is. Obviously, you go check it out.
Everybody had to tell the joke.
Yeah, it was essentially like the dirtiest joke or the bluest joke in comedy, and every comedian knows it. Everybody has a different way of telling it. And the punchline is essentially the same across the board. But to see the number of comics who were family-friendly comics, comics who are known for being, in-your-face comics, all of them know that joke.
Yeah. So it's it's a check it out if you're on your streaming somewhere. Again, it's not a kids one, not a kids.
No. Are you streaming any shows now? Anything you're diving into?
I don't watch a lot of TV. Like I watch what tapes right now for me. The Foods That Built America. And I'm three episodes behind that.
Okay. What foods have you seen so far on it?
I watched one on Anheuser-Busch yesterday. It was in the beer industry. Because if you ever watch The Foods That Build America, it's on History Channel. It'll be like potato chip, like potato chip, quick serve pizza, things like that. And you get to learn about how these things became, how did Kellogg's become Kellogg's?
Right.
And it started with the men that built America. It's kind of like how the Great Industrial Revolution was. Like
the Vanderbilts.
Yeah, and that was then they kind of went off and started that auto records. Vice TV has a show called Dark Side of the Ring, which is stories of professional wrestling scandals.
Oh.
It's like Vice's most watched show.
Now are they like actual scandals? Or
No. It's like real life stuff.
Okay.
Like real life stuff about people that have stuff going on. And,
the Vice channel has become very interesting.
Yeah, that started. What Vice was like? Wasn't that TNN?
I think so.
Or it was some other station that went into the. But they morphed it into Vice. I can't remember. I think it was maybe the Nashville Network. I don't remember, but I just remember it changed to Vice, and they kind of had some edgy, younger content before. But I was a big Walking Dead fan. I watched Walking Dead all the way to the end, and I never watched any of the spin-offs. I never could catch on to the one in California or the other ones. Even I tried watching the Negan Maggie one, and that was saved in the DVR, but I haven't watched it yet. But this original Walking Dead, even a lot of people got turned off when Negan killed Glenn, but I barreled through it. I enjoyed every episode. But I don't have a go-to like a serial show right now that it's on. I don't think there's anything that intrigues me right now.
Now, the dork in me, I'm really watching and loving Andor, which is based on Cassian Andor, Star Wars. But me and the wife have also been really getting into Reacher, which has Alan Richardson in it, and based on the Jack Reacher books.
Sure.
And I like that because as much as I like Tom Cruise, as we discussed earlier, is not a very tall guy, not a very big guy. Jack Reacher is supposed to be like 6'5", 6'6", and a big rip guy. So he didn't quite fit the role for me, and I've read a few of the Jack Reacher books, so this guy does the role much better. We've also been watching Cross, the Alex Cross TV series.
I'm not sure what that is. What's that about?
Well, Alex Cross is a book series about a detective whose wife got killed. He's a single father, doing his thing, and Tyler Perry did a movie with him as him.
Okay.
In between his Medeas, it was one of his more serious roles, an action flick that he did. But now the gentleman that got doing it, I forget his name, but he was on a show called Leverage where he played Partisan, and then he was on. He played in the NWA movie they did. He was one of the young guys who was a rapper in that. So he's making a name for himself. But
are there any shows on network television now? I mean, I would love, I was a huge Survivor Big Brother fan, but just in my lifestyle now, I can't keep up with them. And I don't have a DVR because I don't have over the air, so I can't keep up with Survivor or like Big Brother. I was a huge Big Brother guy. It was like my dream to be a Big Brother. How long do you think I would have? If I would Survivor #1, I would last 6 bucks. Say if I got thrown in the Big Brother. Do you watch any Big Brother?
I did.
Especially back in the day. If I was in the Big Brother, now I'd be the token old guy.
You would be the token old guy now. And I think that's, you've got a fairly big personality, so people are either going to really love you, or they're going to hate you immediately.
Yeah, so a show that I do watch, and I've been waiting because I want to stay, The Traitors. I think Traitors. Have you watched the Traitors on Peacock?
I have not. That's got Alan Cummings hosting
do
it.
you watch Peacock?
I don't. I should get it.
Yeah, season 2 of the first season was okay. Season 2 was kind of really kicked them in gear here. So I do watch the Traitors. I love that. But yeah, the Big Brother house, I was always like, I think I could handle that. I said, I think I could be a. I don't know if I'd be a schemer. I think I'd be a schemer, or I'd be a. I don't know how. I think I would do all right. But again, being the old guy though now, I couldn't relate. Because in season 1 of Big Brother, there was kind of Chicken George on. Right, the old guy just be make fun of him. I don't know. I'd be the guy that they make fun of all the time. And
you might be, but you know, but again, I feel like you'd be that that relationship builder where you'd have your little groups.
Would I have all my little? Would I be the guy like they'd have like 10 alliances?
You totally have a lot of alliances.
And then when would they figure it out and vote me out?
They'd figure it out eventually.
I have alliances with the preppy boys over there, and alliances with the girls over here. And
yep, you can talk sports, you can talk whatever.
Those are sometimes the guys that think they're a threat because they're like, oh, nobody's going to vote for him. We have to vote him out now.
Right, and they never do.
No, like I said, I never. Did you ever apply for any reality shows?
No, I did. Did sit in the audience for Let's Make a Deal a couple of times.
Okay, so you sat in the audience. Never got. What did you dress up as?
We went as various degrees of toast.
Okay.
Ironically.
Who was we?
It was me and a bunch of teammates that I had at the Caesars, and so we all wore shirts that were basically just slices of bread.
Okay.
And we were all various degrees of done, and I was considered the palest whitest of the group, so I was basically uncooked toast.
Was this Wayne Brady version of Let's Make a Deal?
Wayne Brady, yep.
Do you have an episode, or do you have a picture, any of it on tape anymore?
We didn't have it on tape. I think you can see us in the audience for part of it, but one of the guys I know has a picture. I'll have to get that from him and we'll share that. But yeah, I was the white toast. I was barely cooked toast.
I'm good. Actually, take my plate here. It was fantastic. Tell Mike he's awesome.
Mike was wondering if you would be interested in some chocolate cherry cheesecake.
I'm good. I am good. So
same.
All right.
Thanks. And so I've been in the studio audience of, I believe, 3 shows, all on the same trip to New York City when I was a freshman in college.
So these were they not game shows? Or were they like?
No, they were talk shows. Well, so one was Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
waited in line, got in Saturday Night Live. Snoop was the guest. So Snoop flipped me off when I was in this. I loved it. I have pictures of the Saturday Night Live cast at that point, like David Spade, Tim Meadows, Dana Carvey was there at that point too a little bit.
It was a golden age.
They all like came out in the line. We were in the queue line for that and talked to you. I had pictures at home, you know, of like the guy with arm around, like Tim Meadows with his arm around me, you know, and
that's cool.
David Spade doing this, you know, and everything. So we did that. But then we went to Conan O'Brien, and almost got kicked out. Okay, because we'd have a few cocktails.
Conan's a pretty wild, crazy guy. How do you almost get kicked out of Conan?
We were making noise during the show. Number one, we realized, not that I condone it, but you realize if you have a suit and tie on in New York City at the time, you could go anywhere you wanted and order anything you wanted, and nobody questioned it. Mm-hmm. You know, so we had spent some time at a place in the afternoon, and we ended up getting into Conan, and we started professing our love for Andy Richter while the show was going on.
I don't blame you. Andy's a great guy.
And one of my buddies yelled Andy when he first got introduced, and we all cheered and stood and go, you know. And then, every time Andy said something, we cheered for Andy. And then even like when Jay Thomas was one of the guests there, he had a show on. He was like the husband in some sitcom show.
Right.
I remember him, and he was that was after Cheers, you know, obviously, and he had a role in Cheers for a little while, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then then they get pissed because like Andy said something like, "Andy!" We were like the second to last row, and the pages came and said, "You guys don't be quiet." And Andy was eating it up. I have a VHS on somewhere at home at my parents' house. But no, Andy's like, yeah, like Andy. He waved, he'd be like, Andy.
I love it.
And they're literally like we're gonna have you like escorted out of the building here today.
That's awesome.
And so we made it to then Jay Thomas was like, I'm so serious. We like totally ruined the segment. You know, and they watched it. They didn't edit it very much. They did a little bit.
Right.
You know, but you could tell Jay was kind of like trying to pick something that he was doing. And so then Conan just like, what's going on here? You know, bunch of drunk college kids in your audience, and and then so same trip.
Right.
We're walking down in like just some place in Manhattan.
Right.
And somebody opens this door that had no doorknobs on the outside.
Right.
They open the door as we're walking by. There's like no walls, no windows, nothing.
Right.
And so like, hey, and we were like wearing suits and ties and stuff because we were at a National Broadcasting Society convention.
Right.
And so they're like, hey, come in here. And so it's like New York City on a side street. It's like 3 of us on a side street. We walk in there. There's nothing but like people in like suits and ties, but they're all like 55 to like 70-year-old people.
Okay.
Mostly suits and ties. And we didn't know where we were at.
Right.
We didn't ask any questions. It was kind of like Cosmo Kramer.
Right.
Seinfeld. Next thing you know, like put everybody in the seats, you know, and everything. We sit down. Next thing you know, applause. You know, we didn't ask where we were.
Right.
Okay. Next thing you know, it was a taping of the Rush Limbaugh show. Remember he had a TV show? It was on like
I do remember that.
like 10:30. And so it's funny. So I'm telling my mom to tape these things.
Right.
So you watch the scene open, and it was like all these like, you know, all these middle-aged older people.
Right.
And we're like, there's like literally 3 of us young people going, where are we?
Because that was definitely the demographic.
Well, that's what we were saying. We think that because we were suits, they were looking for a younger demographic in the show. And again, I have a VHS at home somewhere. I wish I could find it because it has Conan and it has the Rush Limbaugh show on it. And it just because we were just sitting like, then we left, and we're like, you know, it could have been anything in there, you know. And it was just some guy in a suit said, "Come in."
I mean, I've heard some crazy things in New York, so it really could have been anything. But Rush Limbaugh. Okay.
Yeah, right. You know, he had that in the academy. So like, you know, it was like a 30-minute show, so we were probably waiting in the lobby for like half an hour. And then the show, you know, they tape it, but there's commercials and stuff. So you were probably in like an hour and a half, and then they let us out. We're like, it was like taped in the middle of the day. It was like in the middle of the afternoon.
But yeah, that's how a lot of those shows are. They tape them earlier in the day.
Yeah, because like Saturday Night Live was like at 5.
Right.
Conan O'Brien was about the same time as well.
Which is funny because it's Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. And then but Saturday Night Live, they have 2 shows. They have like the first test show
Right.
that they have an audience for, and then they'll make like earlier in the afternoon.
Right.
I don't know how it's like that now, but then they end up, and then they'll have more like it's like unformatted. They'll
Right.
just run through the skits, and if some stuff doesn't go over, they will bounce from the show.
Right.
You know, so you can get into that audience, or you can get into like the real show, which is tapes like earlier in the evening, because it's not live.
Right.
Yeah, it's Saturday Night Live though.
No, I think maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's a test show that's like at 5. Yeah,
It might be.
Yeah, because we were waiting in line really early for it, and then because the test show's like at 5. That's where they act stuff. Because remember we were waiting in line, but then you have to like sit in this queue line for like a long time. But yeah, the night shows like Johnny Carson, those were all taped like at 5 o'clock. David Letterman.
Right.
Went through the Letterman Theater, you know, and we were there too. We could get there for a show. We were there for this broadcasting convention. My mom is listening, can watch right now. Maybe we went to one thing. One thing. There was like this national broadcasters convention for students.
Right.
We went to one workshop. We just roamed New York City, got on the subway. We were trying to go to heebie-jeebies.
Right.
It's someplace in Brooklyn or whatever.
Yep.
It's like some sort of store.
CBGBs.
CBGBs. Yeah. What's heebie-jeebies?
Yeah, that country blue, grass, and blues.
Yeah. Well, we got on the wrong subway. We ended up in Harlem.
That's perfect.
I know, and in
For young guys
1983,
in
it
suits in
hadn't
Harlem.
been cleaned up yet, you know,
Right.
a little bit, you know. And, Harlem's changed a little bit now.
A little bit, yeah.
But no, so we ended up, and then I still remember that too. We got the subway, and the guy's like, "You better get back right on that subway." And so we're like, "Okay."
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what we did.
Right to the end, right
No,
at the
never made it to Brooklyn.
No Brooklyn, no
Got on-
Queens, then go
no,
Spider-Man.
no, we thought we were going to the Statue of Liberty, got on the wrong boat, and then realized that there's a special Statue of Liberty boat. We just saw them going that way, ended up in New Jersey. Again, wondered why we were with all these people that looked like they were commuters, you know?
Right.
They're not families going to the Statue of Liberty. We just thought, hey, this boat went that way, thought it stopped, like it was like a stop.
I mean, there's water. It probably
No,
stops there somewhere.
as we get driving by, we went on the boat, like, there's the Statue of Liberty. When do you stop?
Why is it going that way?
Then you end up in New Jersey. Oh, that was a trip for the ages. Yeah, I was like 19 years old.
I mean, you do a lot of crazy stuff when you're 19.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, when I was 19, I was learning how to surf.
All right.
Yeah, which for a guy from Wisconsin is not easy.
Motor on the back of the surfboard.
No motor on the back of the surfboard.
You know, speaking of surfing, I was watching an episode of Batman and Robin the other day.
Classic.
The surfing episode of Batman and the Joker. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is that what you look like on there?
There were times. Yeah.
There's an episode of the old Batman show, the Pow Bang Boom from the '60s, where even though Batman and the Joker were enemies, they somehow ended up in a surfing contest.
The plots they came up with for that show, just to keep it going for as long as they did. But no, I didn't do too bad. Once I found out that, I made a mistake. Somebody said you got to use the short boards.
Okay.
Because all the cool people use the short boards. What they don't tell you is trying to get up on a short board, trying to steer a short board is really difficult, especially for beginners. And so I kept trying to pop up on the board. You got to pop up. Back in the day, I could pop up a lot better than I can now. And I'd pop up and I'd kick the board out from underneath me. I'd get hit in the face with it, get a bloody nose, get a black eye.
Fantastic.
It wasn't great.
Photos.
And so then after that, it was like, okay, we got to try something different. So somebody said, no, take my board out there. Their board was much longer, and that was a lot easier. I eventually got fairly decent at it. I wasn't hitting any major waves, 4'5", 5-footers. That was probably my limit.
I don't think I've ever surfed.
No?
I've never been in California. I've been in California, not in the water though. People surf. A few people try surfing. Like when I was in Ocean City, a few people try to surf out there, but it's a different kind of water.
It is a different kind of water. A bit colder. Yeah.
And so
Southern California, the water's pretty nice most of the time.
even as northern Florida, it's not exactly warm winter there in the fall,
Right.
or then in something in the spring.
So
Justin, did I pay off my bet here now?
I think so. I think you've got it officially covered.
All right. You want to start another bet here now? You want to grow your hair up until January of 2027?
January 2027. I think my wife would kill me if I pulled that off.
We just thank Mike from the Bayside Supper Club for letting us come in here today and bring the cameras. And Doreen and Ash, our wait staff, was fantastic.
Yeah, great sports. Thanks to all the fans who were here. For the ones who were here.
They came in. Can we dine and ditch?
Is that the plan?
I would just think that he noticed.
They could be in the back watching this right now.
Let's leave the camera running.
Just walk
dine
away.
and ditch and just see what happens.
We'll come back and get it later.
No, we appreciate everything that Mike at the Bayside does. They do so much for the community here when it comes to housing events. How many millions of dollars do you think that they've raised for South Central Wisconsin over the years that they've been open?
Insanely amounts. I mean, there's so many great events that happen here. Everything from your big name Ducks Unlimited to Lake Improvement Association, Blue Dam Conservationists, Lions Club. I'm sure Knights Club is probably going to get out here. I've seen different banquets and stuff for groups like Green Valley Enterprises and all of them. So they do a lot of good stuff.
It is fantastic. Again, we'll rehash this at 95.3 WVE morning show tomorrow. But Mother's Day at the Bayside Supper Club as well. Make your reservations. And Sunday brunch, Friday night fish fry buffet. Saturday, they have lots of great stuff going on as well.
Absolutely. And do you still have their number pulled up?
The Bayside Supper Club number, it's is it 8870? Okay, I think it's 887-0505. But
that sounds right.
But I'm going to make sure I get it right because I don't want to finish it off and not have it right. Did I remember it correctly? Let's find out here to see if I'm 887-0505, 920-887-0505. Like the Bayside Supper Club on Facebook. You're doing a great job, Ninja. This has been fun.
This has been a lot of fun. And we'll leave everybody with one last image of Ninja with the mutton chops.